Bear down, Chicago Bears. I hope you're having a great morning. DJ Moore has sounded off on new quarterback Caleb Williams, and I think he thinks that this is an upgrade for the Chicago Bears offense. Now, remember, he famously was very supportive of Justin Fields, so it looks like DJ Moore knows what he's talking about. He's now experienced Caleb Williams firsthand, and he has an opinion, and that opinion is both good and a little bit alarming because on one hand, he's looking at Caleb Williams and he thinks that this offense seems to be quite a bit better. However, he's also made a statement that's caused a little bit of concern because he also is wondering how everybody is going to get the ball. So he is worrying a little bit about his catches, et cetera, how Caleb Williams does to make sure that happens. We're going to do an intro for you right now, and then we're going to talk about it.
I can't wait till Friday. Everybody's getting sideways. Pass the bottle back my way. Everybody's getting sideways.
All right, guys. So DJ Moore had an interview just recently with Mirror US Sports. And during that interview, he had some discussion about what he thought about Caleb Williams and that he's been practicing with Caleb Williams. Before the 2024 draft, Caleb had hosted a workout with the Bears that included DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, and new rookie Rome Odunze, not knowing whether or not he would be drafted, of course, but they were friends. So in an interview with the Mirror, he reflected on these sessions with Williams, and he said this: "It was good. Caleb asked me to come out to California. I went there. We had a good throwing session. We were bouncing off ideas from each other, how we're going to do things and stuff like that. It was a good one. Anticipation is there, and you can tell that he's expecting us to be open at a certain time. That's going to be one of the things that's better. Just got to be on the same page with him going forward. It's just going to take some time. Maybe it's going to be fast, or it might take some time, but I'm hoping it's fast." DJ Moore already getting his opportunities to bond with Caleb Williams, perhaps for the best for this team. So we shall see how this all plays out because there's interesting times in Chicago. While we're on interesting times in Chicago, let's wish a shout out and a happy birthday to Tremaine Edmonds. According to the Chicago Bears, he is today is his birthday, and he turns 26 today. So shout out to Tremaine Edmonds. That's a mic for, let's call it a mic drop. Ha! Oh, this is our mic drop day for Tremaine Edmonds, I hope. And by the way, if you don't think that was funny, something wrong with you. I am hilarious. So also, here is the first mock-up. Let's see what this looks like up here on the big screen. This is the first mock-up from Austin Booker. This is Austin Booker, number 94 for the Chicago Bears. This is what it looks like. And by the way, this mock-up came from the Chicago Bears. Of all things, like I'm waiting here to see like team photos to see people. I went back to see all of this. Like where's the mock-ups of Caleb Williams? Where's the mock-ups of Rome? Where's Kieran's mock-up? You know what I mean? Where's Tory Taylor's mock-up? And then the Chicago Bears, what do? They release a mock-up of Austin Booker. So, I mean, here we are. You know what I mean? So it's going to be interesting for sure. And by the way, I made some great ones. You see my Rome Odunze down here? With number 15, you see my right there, Caleb Williams with number 18. Like, am I crushing? Am I killing? And then Keenan Allen right over here at number 13. Like, am I not crushing the game? You know what I mean? So let's get some mock-ups, so people have art assets that we can share. Let people see what it looks like. Let people feel what it looks like to see these guys, these future heroes of the Chicago Bears in there. I think that's an important thing, and I don't know why. It used to be. It felt like it used to be when you got traded in Major League Baseball or when you went to a new team in Major League Baseball. The first thing they would do is they would say, "Dress up and get in your jersey. Like let's take some pictures of you showing your new home team." And like that was a big deal, or at least it felt like to me it was a big deal. And I don't see the same thing in football. I really like to see that. Like I'd really like to see the Chicago Bears. So, the first thing we're going to do when we sign somebody is we're going to get them in team uniforms. We're going to post it prominently all over our website. We're going to celebrate this person. I don't think the Chicago Bears, matter of fact, some of the NFL teams don't make a big deal about this. And I think that it actually is a big deal, and it's good for fans because then instead of doing mock-ups and stuff like that, they can just see it at the website. So in my opinion, by the way, so anyway, mock-up of Austin Booker. And now we got this thing popped out the other day, and it says that that Ryan Poles drafted a punter to make opponents uncomfortable. He appeared on the Pat McAfee show. There's Ryan Poles, and he said they were going to break down the draft picks, and he was excited to hear McAfee was excited to hear what Poles had to say about the All American Ray Guy Award winner. He said that he's the kind of player who will make opposing teams uncomfortable. I love taking advantage of field position, and Torrey Taylor is going to make it uncomfortable for other teams. I think he's really going to add to our team. I didn't expect him to get much further. Definitely, I didn't think he was going to be able to pick him up near the 5th round. And really, the thought process there is to make anyone who's playing really uncomfortable. I didn't play much in the NFL, but I know running onto the field and having the ball spotted inside the 10-yard line is a very uncomfortable feeling. It's disheartening at times, and I love taking advantage of field position, and really that should help us with points as well. So I think he's going to add to our team and again make it uncomfortable for any team we're going against. So contrast that with Caleb Williams, whose initial text said, "Hey, you're not going to be punting too much here, and you have a recipe for. Look, I really like this team. I really like the makeup mentally of these kids so far coming onto this team. So let's see how this all plays out, but very interesting to see. And then we got Asshole of the Month award already being given May 2nd, by the way. May 2nd, and the Asshole of the Month award is already being given out to JB Pritzker. JB Pritzker's office called the current stadium proposal a non starter. Chicago Bears proposal to fund a new lakefront stadium remains a non starter, says JB Pritzker's office. The Bears unveiled a nearly $5 billion plan calling for public funding last week for an enclosed facility to be built next to their longtime home at Soldier Field. Though the governor did not rule out more discussions, the team clearly is facing an uphill battle. As the governor has said, the current proposal is a non starter for the state. In order to subsidize a brand new stadium for a privately owned sports team, the governor would need to see a demonstrable and tangible benefit to the taxpayer of Illinois. The governor's office remains open to conversations with the Bears lawmakers and other stakeholders with the understanding that responsible fiscal stewardship of taxpayer dollars remains the foremost priority. Pritzker's chief of staff, Anna Caprara, and Deputy Governor Andy Menard met with the Bears, who called it a productive conversation. We share a commitment to protecting the taxpayers of Illinois and look forward to further discussions. So this is actually, here's what's going to happen, okay? And we should be very frank and very honest. What is going to happen to the city of Chicago is that the Bears will move out of the city of Chicago if they can't get what they want. Now, that may be there's something where, maybe you don't like it. Maybe they only go to Arlington Heights. Maybe they only go to a place that supports them versus a place that will not be by the government supporting them. Maybe Arlington Heights has a plan in place or some, there's going to be something there. There might be something to it. But here's the other part. Nobody thought that the Cleveland Browns in the middle of the night would just take the fuck off and go to Baltimore. Nobody thought that was even a possibility. And then one night it happened. Nobody thought that the St. Louis Rams would be playing in Los Angeles, yet here we are, and it happened. So there are a lot of pieces. The whoever thought the Oakland Raiders would move to Los Angeles, then whoever thought the Los Angeles Raiders would move to Oakland, then whoever thought the Oakland Raiders would move to Las Vegas. Over and over again, teams will move and they will go to different locations. And what they're doing right now is they're playing a game, and that game might not end very well. That game might end with the Chicago Bears moving. And look, at this point, look around. There are places out here where you don't have teams. There are places that are looking, places that have had teams before, that are looking for teams again. Like this is there. There is a real possibility. There's a real possibility that the Chicago Bears could be looking at some kind of wild scenario and not even talking about it at this point. And this may not end as well as anybody thinks that it will. So, um, JB Pritzker, shout out to him for trying to do something, but and Mike Huff says Bears will never leave the Chicago area. League would never ever approve that. Never. That's not true. That's none of this is true. It doesn't mean that it won't happen. It just means that it hasn't happened. No team left Cleveland either until a team left Cleveland. No team left St. Louis until a team left St. Louis. No team, and actually, didn't two teams leave St. Louis? Something like that. You know what I mean? Or LA moved to St. Louis. These wild shit. These teams move wherever they go. And by the way, San Diego Chargers, Los Angeles Chargers. I mean, but we've had St. Louis Cardinals, we've had St. Louis Rams, we've got LA Rams, we've got LA Raider, we got LA Chargers, we've got Jesus Christ, like guys, anything can happen. Anything can happen. We think that because we're the second city that something will happen, and that's what Illinois is relying on. But that's not true. That is not true at all. The Chicago Bears could look at this and say, this is a non-starter. You know what I mean? This is a non-starter. We absolutely will not do this. And then we're considering Arlington Heights. What would you do, by the way? What would you do if the Chicago Bears said, you know what, we're moving to Wisconsin? And they go to the north side of Wisconsin to avoid being in Illinois and get a stadium built. And Wisconsin's like, it's fucking awesome. You know what I mean? Like they're and by the way, that will never happen, not in a million years. But the point still remains that the when you do this, most of the time it works out, and most of the time you figure it out. But there's always a possibility that somebody gets tired of it. Now, I'm from Louisville. There's no chance the Bears would move to Louisville. There's no chance they would move to Indianapolis. I don't think there's any chance that they would move to Northwest Indiana. There's not much of a chance of a big move, but you never know. You never know what could happen. And just to say, well, they're not going to do that, we do not know whether that will happen or not. So it would certainly be interesting to find out. Now, the plan calls for $3.2 billion for a new stadium plus $1.5 billion in infrastructure. The team in the city said the project would add green and open space while improving access to the city's museum campus. The proposal calls for $2.05 billion from the Bears, $300 million from an NFL loan, and $900 million in bonds from the Illinois Sports Facility Authority. The funding from the ISFA would involve extending bonds of the existing 2% hotel tax. Mayor Brandon Johnson gave a full-throated endorsement, saying the project is in line with Daniel Burnham's plan of Chicago. He said there are no tax hikes or new taxes for Chicago residents, but Pritzker and state legislators are skeptical of the plan. The Bears spent $197 million more than a year ago to purchase the site at Arlington International Racecourse from Churchill Downs. They envisioned building a stadium on the 326-acre tract of land some 30 miles northwest of Soldier Field, with restaurants, retail, and more on the property, all for about $5 billion with some taxpayer help. The Bears have said they would pay for the stadium in Arlington Heights with taxpayer dollars covering infrastructure costs such as roads and sewers. Those plans stalled, with the team citing a property assessment it said was too high. Guess what? Arlington Heights could change the assessment for it, and the next thing that you know, the Bears are in the Northwest in Arlington Heights. And Chicago is wondering where it all went wrong. And JB Pritzker is going, I just want to be reelected, guys. I'm a billionaire who does a lot of good stuff. And, the Chicago Bears are gone. And now attract people to that downtown area as much as you were attracting people before with a decrepit stadium that, Who's going to play there? They're going to play at the state of art place in Arlington Heights. And all Arlington Heights has to do is build roads and accommodate what's going on there. Arlington Heights then becomes the new come up place. I mean, this is very real and it could end up happening. So, you know what I mean? And John Collins, remember everyone that once the St. Louis Cardinals, now the Arizona Cardinals, were also at one time the Chicago Cardinals. Teams do move. And we look at it and say, well, the old days, right? Well, no, not exactly. Las Vegas didn't have a football team until recently. So there are moves that could be made. Again, I'm not saying that, the Bears would be a team to move to Las Vegas, but again, Arlington Heights could be the place. And it could be funded at taxpayer dollars. And the question right now would be, I mean, the governor can't stop free enterprise. The governor can just refuse funding. You know what I mean? Like they can. There are certain things that they can do, but this is going to be a very interesting thing. But in the meantime, JB Pritzker is going to win Asshole of the Year award for this. Now, this was the negative part of that DJ Moore interview, and what it said that there was a concern that surfaced that the Chicago Bears have too many offensive weapons and that their star wide receiver wants his targets. So, according to Ryan Taylor with NBC Sports, DJ Moore suggested the Bears could have too many skilled players competing for passes if general manager Ryan Poles took a wide receiver with the number 9 pick. And he said, it's always good to have an unlimited number of playmakers, but there's only one ball. So we'll see what we do. I'm pretty sure we'll do the right thing no matter what we do, receiver, lineman, anybody. I'm just looking forward to it. Now, he's staying positive and he's building positively the conversation about how he feels about this offense. But let it be known that in the event that he's not getting the ball enough, because, that's how he makes his living and that's how he continues to get big contracts. If he's not getting the ball being an elite athlete because there are more elite athletes on the team, then that's going to cause his statistics to drop off. And look, that's a little bit self-centered. And I don't think that DJ Moore is a self-centered guy, but there is a very real concern that are the best players getting the ball. You want to put you want the ball in the hands of your best players, and he feels he's one of the best players. So, you know what I mean? He made a similar comment last season. He was upset by a lack of targets during the Bears' blowout loss to the Los Angeles Chargers. He said, a little bit upset that I didn't get the ball, but that's just the game. We've only got one ball and 11 people on the field, but the defense was really keying into where I was the whole time, either rolling coverage or just playing two people with me. That's just how it goes when you have impact games or make impact plays on a team. Now, does that mean that DJ Moore would get double teamed coming into this new season? Well, who are you going to cover Keenan Allen with? Who are you going to cover Rome Odunze with? I don't think that he's going to experience the same thing. And in the event that means that he is the prototype first option for Caleb Williams, then that's what he becomes. I think this really actually improves DJ Moore, or the potential for DJ Moore, way more than what he thinks at this point. It's my opinion of that, because quite frankly, what he's looking for is an opportunity. He's looking for more. He's looking to be more into the offense, and you know what? Fair enough. So get more into the offense. But I feel it's my belief that double teams, or when they're really queuing in on him and they're making it very tough, they're bumping him and they're making him uncomfortable for the entire game. They're not going to be able to expend the energy to do that if you have Rome Odunze and you have Keenan Allen. I still want to say Rome Odunze, just to mess with people, but we're going with Rome Odunze. Rome Odunze and Keenan Allen and Gerald Everett and Cole Kmet. You have enough weapons out there, and you got DeAndre Swift, that nobody can be double covered. Anybody that gets double covered means that somebody else is going to be able to be a big playmaker. So you can't do anything like that. You're going to screw your team. And I don't think teams are going to do that. So you're going to have to play people fair, and you're not going to be able to cheat on your man and put them in compromising situations where those double teams exist. So boom, I think by proxy, the Bears are a much better offense, and that DJ Moore is going to feast more than experience famine in this new offense. It's just my opinion. By the way, anything could play out any kind of wild way. We should recognize that. You never know how well these teammates get together, how they mesh with one another. Are there's some problems? Are there some, you know what I mean? John Collins asked, does DJ Moore have a clause in his contract where he receives more compensation according to how many passes he catches in a given year? DJ Moore contract. All right, so DJ Moore's contract incentives. He signed a 3-year, $61.8 million dead money cap, contract notes, cash flows. No, he does not have incentives. He does not have an incentive-laden contract. No. And if he does, nobody's reporting about it. There's nobody really there's nobody really reporting about it. So no. As far as I can see at this point, I'm looking at Spot Rack, which tracks all of the contracts and over the cap, and he got a signing bonus, 4.875 million. Then he got his normal. He's got a roster bonus and a workout bonus. He's got a roster bonus of 1 million for 2025 if he's on the roster, and then he's got a workout bonus of 200,000 for showing up for OTAs, and that's it. No, he doesn't have an incentive for catches. So, but I think he has. You know, look, if you want to be one of the greats, and you want to prove that you're one of the greats, and you need to get the ball so that you can prove that. So, we'll see how that works. Echo Bean says that the defenses will play zone, which of course, if you got a good quarterback, you're going to expose that zone, and you're going to get the soft parts of the coverage, and boom. Again, I think this is going to be an explosive team, and if you have to run zone coverage on them constantly, and you can't go man to man at all, or you can't vary your coverages very much because you have so much potential all around you, then it creates a new dynamic that the Chicago Bears have. We've never seen this before, by the way. If we just consider that, and he just wants to remain the number one receiver, right? And if he plays like it, he's going to be the number one receiver. I think he should be happy. He should be happy certainly with Keenan Allen. If he has a problem, that problem could be Rome Odunze maybe coming in, because Keenan Allen's on his way down. I mean, the guy's 30-something years old. He's on the downside of his career. Even if he's held up very well, he's still on the downside of his career. DJ Moore is on the upside of his career. So Keenan Allen comes in, he teaches Rome a little bit, and then he's gone in a year. That would be my guess, by the way, of how this plays out. And Rome becomes the pairing with DJ Moore. And then DJ Moore, we'll see, what happens there. 15 million a year might be cost prohibitive to keep him around for much longer, especially when you've got a pretty good discount on Rome, and you might be able to reach into the draft, make some trades, and you might be able to get another receiver to go along with it. Just my opinion. So we'll see how this whole thing kind of plays out. A lot of picks next year in the draft to continue building around. Maybe, just maybe, we're going to be in a fantastic position. However, time is what's going to reveal whether or not that really plays out that way. So, but DJ Moore, in the meantime, a little bit concerned about the attention that he's got. And by the way, while we're talking about receivers, this kind of shit just doesn't really sit very well. This is Rome Odunze. If you like that, image, then that's Trent Taylor. By the way, I just changed the color of his arms a little bit, kind of darkened it a little bit to more match Rome Odunze, and then I put Rome Odunze in there with and then you know how to do it. Anyway, I think I thought it was a pretty cool picture. So Chicago Bears named the worst landing spot for Rome Odunze. Bleacher Report's Alex K listed Odunze as one of the rookies who ended up in the worst possible situation in 2024. Keep in mind, Kay is not saying that Chicago is a bad team or that Odunze will be a bust. He is merely stating that Odunze may have difficulty getting touches in the Bears offense, and he has a point. Chicago entered the offseason with DJ Moore as its lone reliable receiver. It then swung a trade for Keenan Allen, giving the team one of the most lethal 1-2 punches in football. Now the Bears have added Odunze to the mix. They also have Gerald Everett in the mix and Cole Kmet. Not only all of this, but that's wide receivers. Then it says not only that, but Chicago also has a budding star in Cole Kmet and signed fellow tight end Gerald Everett, who's caught over 50 passes in each of the last 2 years. Plus, they signed a solid pass catcher in DeAndre Swift. So, this is maybe going to take some touches away. And again, just redressing exactly what DJ Moore is saying right now without seeing how this plays out. And by the way, what do we do here? What do we do if this team is so fascinating that Caleb Williams comes in and throws for 4,000 yards in a season or 3,600 yards, 3,700, whatever the big number is now in the NFL, 4,000 yards in a season? What if he comes in? What if he does that? What if we have DJ Moore with over 1,000 yards? What if we have Keenan Allen with over 1,000 yards? We have Rome Odunze with 600, 700 yards in his first season. What if we have Cole Kmet and Gerald Everett each coming in with close to 6, 7, 800 yards as well? And then we have DeAndre Swift coming out of the backfield with nearly 500 yards. This would be a wild, wild potential team. Really comes down to how quickly Caleb Williams processes the defenses of the NFL, how quickly he understands the reads, and how well the offensive line holds up in giving him that opportunity to make those plays. Can he throw the ball away? Can he make it very difficult? One of the things that I think that that's going to be important for me, Justin Fields did not frustrate NFL teams nearly enough with smart decision making. He held on to the ball a little bit too long. He gave the defenses an opportunity to collapse on him. They got their sacks in on him. They got, they messed up the game. They ended up winning those games. In this situation with somebody who's going to make quicker reads and is going to make faster passes, eventually that part catches up. The offensive line looks a lot better, feels more confident. The receivers are making their plays. This Bears offense looks to be potentially explosive in a way that we've probably never seen before. This is just my opinion. I'm not saying that it's going to happen. I'm saying it feels like this is the moment where we start to see something along the lines of something we haven't seen ever before. And Rome Odunze, is he in the wrong place? No, he's certainly not in the wrong place. But it is going to be difficult. By the way, the prohibitive rookie of the year at this point, his over under or whatever you call it was absolutely ridiculous right now, like plus 150. So he is by far the favorite, and that's Caleb Williams to be rookie of the year. Rome Odunze is something like 1,000 to 1 or 10 to 1 at this point, with Caleb Williams being at 1.5. So you can't have two. You know what I mean? So we'll see. Now this is a quick analysis of Caleb Williams, just to give you guys a little bit of a read here. This is something a little bit different. This is actually coming from Britain, in fact. In a word, Caleb Williams is a different player, not only with his talent on the field, but with his persona off the field and a larger than life personality, which is just what was needed to turn around a flagging franchise. Chicago Bears fans hope to be looking back at this pick in years to come as a turning point for the team reaching the Super Bowl and coming off of its last playoff win, which was 2010. There have been many false dawns and near misses for the Bears, the second oldest team in the NFL with 9 overall championships, but never had a star quarterback in the modern era. Starting with Oklahoma, Caleb Williams transferred to the USC and easily won the Heisman Trophy as the best quarterback in college football in 2022. The team struggled more last year, but Williams continued to shine through as not only the best dual threat quarterback, but also that he just does not give the ball away. He totaled 10,082 passing yards and 93 touchdowns, throwing just 14 interceptions, along with 960 rushing yards and 27 touchdowns. Throw in the fact that Williams can extend plays and throw just as well while scrambling in the pocket. Think Patrick Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers on the run, and he had NFL talent evaluators salivating at his skill set. In crucial third and fourth down situations, he took his game to an elite level, going 199 passes without an interception, while in the red zone, he threw 46 touchdowns and gave the ball away only once. These are the important factors. The places where we haven't necessarily seen a Bears quarterback shine is exactly where he shines. And that's in the difficult situations. In third and fourth down, 199 passes without an interception, something we didn't see from Justin Fields. In the red zone, 46 touchdowns and only one interception over 2 years. So, this guy understands protecting the ball. Now, he did have 16 fumbles. So there is a question of him fumbling the ball. And we will have to deal with that, by the way. This will be something that will cost us a game or two. So we're going to have to be, very careful with what we see from Justin Fields, from Caleb Williams in that regard. He will fumble the ball a few times before he starts to get it right. The question is, can he get it right? And I think the answer to that seems to be yes. He wants to improve consistently. And as he matures, then protecting the ball will become even more paramount. So we'll see a couple early on fumbles, but I have every confidence that he's going to understand how this plays out. John Collins says, do you think that having a Tariq Cohen type player on the roster now, he was so much fun to watch? You know what? I dare I say it, I think that person is probably going to be either Rome or Tyler Scott. I think that that's the guy that we're going to see kind of step up and get more of that all-purpose sort of stuff. I don't think Velus Jones. I think the team really likes Velus Jones, but the stats are in and they're not favorable, so it won't be him. But Tyler Scott might start to return some punts. He might catch on pretty well. Rome is very good at returning punts and kicks, so he might even be in the mix. Or maybe we start to see a little bit more out of Roschon Johnson. There's a couple different intriguing potential players, and let's not forget DeAndre Swift has some game. He has highlight reels of some just insane plays that he was able to make over the last few years, both catching the ball out of the backfield and running the ball out of the backfield. He had 1,136 yards last year rushing, and that doesn't even include his passing, his pass catches. So it could be that we're looking at DeAndre Swift as that guy. Low to the ground, big legs, low center of gravity. Like I really think that we're going to see something again that we really haven't seen. I don't know that we have that guy on the roster, though. To be fair, I don't know that we have that Tariq Cohen sort of player. Here's the other part, though. I think everybody that we're looking at right now is better than Tariq Cohen when it comes to that. And that he had a good little run. He was small enough. He was a very elusive guy. I think that we'll probably have a few people like that. And I don't think that Travis Homer is the guy, by the way. I don't think Travis Homer, I think he'll barely even see the field this year. Because if you just consider what you have, if you consider what you have with DeAndre Swift, Khalil Herbert, and Roschon Johnson, I don't know that there's really a spot for Travis Homer on anything but special teams. And I don't know if it's going to be even catching the ball. I think I think Rome Odunze, who has been a punt returner, or Tyler Scott ends up filling that role. You know what I mean? Like I think DeAndre Swift. I think DeAndre Swift is going to be the closest that we get to Tariq Cohen. He's shown flashes. He's had good performance, and he'll probably be that guy when we watch. We'll be like, oh shit, there he goes. You know what I mean? And he can outrun people. You know what I mean? Like he's not the fastest guy, but he's fast. He hits the holes hard, and he can break away. So that'll be as close as I can say. And by the way, same position. So we'll see how that fares. Next up, how serious are the Bears as a threat to the Lions? And this is coming from all Lions at Sports Illustrated. Bears Junkie 23 HOA says, I'm a little behind on the video. There's more important things for $2.3 billion to go to other than paying for a billionaire's playground. If they want to move, they can go ahead and do that. Well, the question for that is not really that. I mean, that's just that's just the I don't like this idea way of looking at it. In fact, what you're telling the businesses in the downtown is that they don't matter at all. That you don't have the right to sell restaurant foods. You don't have the right to charge for parking. All of the things that create value in that downtown community start to decline when you start to see places like that move out. So I'm not in disagreement with you in that there are better things that $2.3 billion could go to, but you're also going to destroy part of an economy that Chicago relies on in the downtown area. Will it collapse? No, because there's plenty to do still in Chicago. It doesn't need to have the Chicago Bears sitting right there. But if it does not have it, then that business, whatever that business revenue that's generated goes to, if not in Chicago, then that's where Arlington Heights becomes something, that's where there's this. It doesn't end well. If the Bears move out of Chicago, it does not end well for the city of Chicago in that area and all of the businesses that rely. What about hotels? You can't fill up hotels anymore because you don't have 70,000 people every Sunday filling up a stadium. There are pieces there that are going to be, have to be considered. I do agree that it doesn't bring as much value as some people, like you come in, you say, well, if we build a stadium, then we're going to have all this blah, 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 and everybody's going to be able to eat. And now we're going to have instead of 66,000 seats, we're going to have 75,000 seats. I mean, 9,000 extra people, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know that that's going to fix any economic. I don't know if it's going to be worth it economically speaking. I really don't, because that's always kind of overstated. But I mean, the opposite is going to be even worse, no matter what you think. So anyway, the Detroit Lions, not only, and here's what they say, by the way, not only will the Lions face more pressure to win the division, but they also have to deal with an increased level of competition. While the Green Bay Packers are the biggest threat, Chicago is undeniably emerging as another big thing. After enduring a third consecutive sub 500 season, Chicago made a concerted effort to overhaul its roster. So Chicago is going to be more of a factor in the NFC North. So the record versus Detroit. Lions had a tough time stopping Justin Fields and DJ Moore. In the second matchup between the two teams, the Bears stymied Jared Goff, limiting him to 161 passing yards and sacking him 4 times and forced 2 interceptions out of the signal caller. Chicago outscored Dan Campbell's squad 18-0 in the second half of its 28-13 win. Also, remember, 4 minutes and 54 seconds left. 4 minutes and 54 seconds left. That is where they scored 17 points, just a ridiculous, or 16 points, a ridiculous number to end up winning that previous game. It's bullshit. But I mean, look, it happens, right? It happens. We had 3 opportunities to score, and we didn't score. And I think a lot of that's on Justin Field. Like, we didn't have ball control. We didn't take care of the ball. We didn't make sure that we ate up the clock. We could have 4 minutes and 54 seconds. All we had to do was get a couple first downs. Just consider that. And we had the ball a couple of times, and all we had to do was just move the ball a little bit, and we couldn't do that. So, consider, if you will, that's not going to happen again. That was something. That was one of those things of epic proportion that a bad team goes through. And when you start to become a good team, which the Bears are arguably now a good team, that doesn't happen to good teams. That happens to bad teams. And the Bears were a bad team that was getting better all year long. And right after that, what did? They came back a couple weeks later and annihilated Detroit because they saw what they did. They recognized the error of their ways, and they came in and they just dominated. So, I expect to see the same thing happen. Now, of course, because of DeAndre Swift being here, I think they're going to be looking at that. I think they're going to be looking at that. And what did we lose last year? Darnell Mooney, Eddie Jackson, Cody Whitehair, Justin Fields. Were they replaced in a worthy fashion? So the question is, did we get an upgrade in Keenan Allen or Rome Odunze over Darnell Mooney? That's the question that you have to ask yourself. Is Kevin Byard better than Eddie Jackson? Not the Eddie Jackson from 2018, 2019, 2020. Not that Eddie Jackson, but the one that got the big fat contract and started to not play very well. That's the Eddie Jackson that we're talking about. So love Eddie Jackson, but he did not live up to the contract that we gave him. So in that context, is Kevin Byard an upgrade? I think that he is. Also, the depth that we brought in at safety is probably also good. Offensive line, did we improve over Cody Whitehair by bringing in Ryan Bates and Coleman Shelton? Did we upgrade by bringing in Matt Pryor? Did we upgrade by bringing in Kieran Emagaji? Did we upgrade this offensive line in an appreciable way with the loss of Cody Whitehair? I think the answer to that continues to be yes. Justin Fields, did we make an upgrade at quarterback over Justin Fields? And look, there's a lot of argument. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say right now it's a tie because I think, again, and I'll say this many times, Justin Fields, I think, gives the Bears the best opportunity to win this coming year in 2024. I think the Bears would be way better with Justin Fields. However, here's the other part to that. What if Caleb Williams just understands the NFL? What if he hits the ground running? He will go through struggles, but what if the Bears are able to limit some of the struggles, to mask some of the problems, and what if they're able to develop him into something special? What if it works? What if it really works? Maybe we could be just as good as we would have been with a more seasoned quarterback. And by the way, I don't say Justin Fields is better. I just say he's more seasoned at that point, which would lead to potentially a few more wins because we won't have rookie mistakes. However, what if Caleb Williams is an anomaly and he is everything that we're thinking that he might be? What if that happens? If that happens, could we be looking at just something that Brock Purdy came in as the last pick in the draft and ended up going into the Super Bowl, right? And he played like a veteran. He played very, very well and played admirably the entire season. What if Caleb Williams comes in, he's calm, he's cool, he's collected, and the team responds to that? What if he becomes that next Brock Purdy? Well, could the Bears be in the Super Bowl? I don't think realistically that that's going to happen. But anything can happen once you get to the playoffs, and I do think that the Bears can get into the playoffs. So you've got a puncher's chance at doing something. And look, throw away the 4 games again last season. Throw away the 4 games where they just were clearly unprepared, and this Bears team was a winning franchise for the rest of the season. Now, the question would be, can we fix those 4 games from the beginning of the season where we just did not look ready to compete? If we can do that and we can split the difference on that, then that alone means the Bears win 9 games. And I think that's really where the NFL analysts are currently looking. Like, I think they think that, we're definitely going to be 2 games better. And we recognize Caleb is going to mess some stuff up. We know that. But is he going to get better and improve? And I think the answer to that is also yes. So next year or this year, I would have preferred Justin Fields. However, in the second year, when Caleb Williams really starts to get a grasp of the offense and really gets better, this Chicago team is built for the Super Bowl. This Chicago team is built for that next level. And look, you may not see it all right now, but I think you will see it pretty soon. I think we'll start to see. We'll get to, we're gonna get to OTAs. We're gonna get a feel for the team. Then we're gonna get to, then we're gonna get into, preseason and we're not that far away, guys. Super Bowl was months ago. We've gone through the draft. Now everybody's going to start getting ready. We only got a couple months. August will be here pretty soon. It's May right now, so less than 4 months away from here it comes. You know what I mean? So I really think that this team is going to be a lot better than we think. And could I be wrong? No, but also yes. So how serious look, here's what I'm going to say. The Bears are going to sweep the Lions and they're going to sweep the Vikings. The end. How we hold up to Green Bay remains to be seen. I am not sure about Green Bay, but what I do think What I do think is that the Bears are focused, number one, on Green Bay, are focused on Minnesota, because I know that they do not want Minnesota to win next year. And I think that, and by the way, a talented team that doesn't want that to happen, and Detroit as well. So I think that we're going to see a team. By the way, the Bears played both of these teams very well, despite splitting games with them. So at least consider that going into this next season. I think the Bears are improved. I think the Bears are going to beat both of them. That's going to be an easy 4 wins. Do the Bears end up 4-2 in the division? 4-2 or 5-1 is what I'm going to say. And I do think that they're going to beat Green Bay at one point. Like we're going to see something happen there. And we'll probably maybe we'll see something good. Jonathan Allen, I saw that yesterday. I saw the conversation about Jonathan Allen. I'm not sure that Jonathan Allen adds anything to the team at this point without a cost. And the question would be the cost of what it is. I like where the team is right now. And in my brain, by the way, when I say I like where the team is right now, it's with a couple of things. And one of those is, while we're doing this, that we heard it on the X, and here is what I heard. And the reason why I'm not really worried too much about Jonathan Allen, despite that he would be an upgrade, and that is Yannick Ngakoue is still not signed to a team, so could come back on a veteran minimum contract, and that would be a very good thing. And listen, this is the way, and I see it the same way that this guy sees it. He says Yannick Ngakoue coming back to the Bears could start heating up, knows the defense, a good mentor for Austin Booker, and heated up after Montez Sweat came to town. Now, what I do think is I think DeMarcus Walker also did the same thing. And KO Sports Talk says we can sweep Green Bay. I know we can. It's whether we will. It's the mistakes that could be that could be made. That is the question right there. And Jonathan Allen could easily be the best 3 techniques since Tommy Harris. Yes, but I don't know that we need, again, it's a necessity right now. How much does it cost you in order to make that happen? The Bears are now squeezed for capital. The Bears are now in a poor situation financially for coming into the season. I think they're only going to have about either $7 or $8 million for emergency spending for the season. So Yannick Ngakoue coming in at a veteran minimum might alleviate some of that. And we're going to have to cross our fingers. In fairness, we're going to have to cross our fingers, and we're going to have to hope that Gervon Dexter is everything we think he is, that Zach Pickens shows up in a way that it shows some good growth from season 1 to season 2, and that Andrew Billings continues to be that monster in the middle. Like we're going to have to just rely on that. We're going to have to rely on DeMarcus Walker. At this point, I think that, the team is set, if you will. But I could be wrong, and maybe we could see something, because if you consider at least one thing, Khalil Herbert is still sitting out there available for any team looking for a running back. And I say that knowing that I like Khalil Herbert, and I would prefer Khalil Herbert over DeAndre Swift, or at least I would have a while back. And by the way, I'm defending the Bears, who are Bears, so. But he is continuing to be talked about as available. And of course, his rookie contract's going to be up pretty soon. So it will be time, if he's not going to be that guy. And we've already moved on mentally to Roshan Johnson for the guy for the future, while we have DeAndre Swift here. If we've already done all of this stuff, then Khalil Herbert is the odd man out, because his contract will be coming up for renewal soon. So could we get something like a Jonathan Allen for a Khalil Herbert and some consideration in the future? Potentially. So I'll leave that open for the moment, but I'm not a fan right now of making any more changes, because I don't know that it's, I don't know that it's going to be necessary. I don't know that we're as bad as it might say. And now another thing is, if you get the time, go to Twitter and look up at CHGO_Bears. And this is an interview with Caleb Williams at Gonzaga High School coach. He wants that stage like that dude who wore 23 in your city, talking about Caleb Williams becoming the next Michael Jordan of Chicago, that he is looking for that spotlight. He is demanding that spotlight. He's already working. Guys, we already know he's already working with Chicago Bears, learning and getting familiar with them. So, fantastic opportunity right here if he comes through. Like if Caleb Williams comes through and is anywhere near as good as we hope he is, then That's going to be incredible. And now the final piece is the Bears have announced their new uniforms. So in the event that you are curious and you're looking for new stuff, Jalen Johnson has moved from number 33 to number 1. Tyler Scott has moved from number 13 to number 10. Jalen Jones from 31 to 21. Michael Dwumfor from 72 to 78. DeAndre Swift is going to be number 4. Brett Ripien is going to be number 11. Keenan Allen, 13. Gerald Everett, number 14. Tavarius Moore, number 30. Kevin Byard, 31. Jonathan Owens, number 36. Corliss Waitman, number 37. Douglas Coleman, number 38. Cam Lyons, the long snapper, number 43. Ammon Agbenamigma is going to be 45. Jacob Martin, 55. Coleman Shelton, 65. Ryan Bates, 71. Jake Curran, 73. Curran, by the way, another guy along with Matt Pryor, who I think is a pretty nice upgrade here for this offensive line. Matt Pryor, number 79. Number 81, Dante Pettis. Number 93, Byron Cowart. You know, I continue to forget that Byron Cowart is here, that we did end up signing him. So again, I don't know that we need a Jonathan Allen when all these pieces are coming into play. Then you have the draft picks, and that's going to be Rome Odunze is now number 15, Caleb Williams number 18, Torrey Taylor number 19, Kiran Emagaji number 72, and Austin Booker will be number 94. So there you have it. Those are the new numbers. You can go look that up on the Chicago Bears website, or you can go look it up on Chicago Bears on Twitter. Gives you a breakdown visually of all of the different names and all of the different numbers for next season. So with that, we end the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate each and every one of you. I'm going to say this. I'm going to hold to this because I don't want to back down off of it at this point. I'm going to give you a prediction here that the Chicago Bears are going to they're going to be a lot better than you think. They're going to be a lot better than anybody thinks at this point. They're going to be one of these teams where you look at it and you're like, wow, all the signals were there for something magical to happen. And we weren't sure whether something magical would happen or not, but oh my God, it's happening. The Bears are going to win 13 games. They're going to go 13-4. And I'm saying that knowing that the 2 losses, I'm giving the 2 losses right now to Green Bay. That after we get this, the Bears have the 3rd weakest schedule in the NFL. They have the biggest upgrade overall of any team in the NFL for their entire team. The Bears are built to win right now. Now, depth comes into question, but depth is something that we'll deal with from another time. You guys, I just gave you a list of a lot of different guys who are now part of this team that are going to be plug and play, that are going to be filling slots, that are going to be making sure that this team is ready for success. So I have a feeling the future is very, very bright in Chicago, and I can't wait to see this team get on the field and start making some victories. And if you're with me, make sure that you bear down because that's the end of the show, and we will talk to you again tomorrow. Remember, what is it I said? Can't wait till Friday. It's time to get...
I can't wait till Friday. Everybody's getting silent.